Hi everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344 Mercury retrograde. I have a very special read for you today. Just so you know, the Lovers was the central card for the read, and this is for the Divine Masculine. It was just 11. I'm going to get right into it because the whole message is very special. So if you have the time, please stay tuned to everything. I'm just doing this. If I have time at the end, I'll do oracle cards as well. It is March 10th, 2019. As you know, 10 is all about the Wheel of Fortune and good luck and destiny and that high vibration of the 101010, okay, staying at 0 point. The day adds up to 25, which is the Knight of Wands. So it's definitely that passionate energy of riding in and destiny, a destined ride, you know. Okay, so it was a rainy day here this morning. But I slept pretty well, probably not quite enough, but it was better than I've been sleeping the past few nights. I don't feel as much stress in my chest anymore. And what else was happening this morning? Oh, first thing I did when I went outside before the read to ground, I was getting Annie Lennox, which is funny because it's my air conditioner, and I've never noticed that before as a message. And I do this all the time. So Annie Lennox was coming up. Sweet Dreams Are Made of These came up. That was at 9:58 this morning. And well, I was just getting Big Wheels Keep on Turning. Burning, turning, whatever. You know what I'm talking about, Tina Turner. Then as I cut the deck at 10:08, which actually October 8th has always been a special day for me for some reason. I don't know why. There's a couple dates during the year that have always been repeated dates for me, as well as just other parts of the year. But 10/8, for some reason, there's always something specific about that. And that came up as the time here when we cut the Sirian deck, okay? And the top card, and I notice now with my Sirian deck, whenever I cut the deck, but you know how sometimes one card will hang and won't quite drop, and you have to kind of assist it to come down? I know now when I'm doing the Divine Masculine, whenever that happens, I know the central card is going to be a good one, and it was the Lovers today. So that was the message today. It's going to be a good one. And then a car raced south at 10:10, and I got Talk to Me Like Lovers Do. So again, that same energy, and that was at 10:19. And then at 10:21, I literally said good catch, which I was guided to then write down. So. And that was on the Destiny card in the Divine Masculine space, how he sees himself as the Wheel of Fortune today, which is the Great Wheel in the Sirian Starseed deck. And 21 is completion, and 19 is the Sun. So we're getting all these very positive energies and all about the 10s, 10 o'clocks, which are that high vibration. And then the read for the Masculine was done at 10:24 to 25. So it's finished at 24, going into the 25 to arrange the different cards, which brings yesterday into today, because yesterday was 24. And today adds up to 25. So the Queen of Wands, and then, but moving into the Knight of Wands energy. So as we get into the read, the major arcana for the Divine Masculine today, and this is the main deck of the Sirian Starseed deck. I do use several other decks like Romance Angels and the Numerology deck. I use the mini deck from Rider-Waite. I also have the Gilded and the Universal Golden Tarot. Am I missing anything? And the Tarot of Sexual Magic, of course. Okay, but in the Sirian Starseed deck, the major arcana were the Lovers, Tower, Ascension, the Great Wheel, Guidance, Indigo, and then the card after the read, which I use, is Karma. So Lovers and Towers, obvious. Ascension is traditionally the world. The Great Wheel is the wheel. The Guidance card is the Hierophant, and Indigo is the Magician, and then Karma is Judgment. There were 2 cups, 2 wands, and 1 sword. Okay, so there were no pentacles here today. And where are we? Is it Saturday today? I think. The court cards were the Queen of Cups, King of Wands, King of Cups, and Queen of Swords. So 2 kings, 2 queens. And the only number, and this rarely happens, there was only 1 number in this read, and that was number 4. Okay, so this came up as very important today. And then as I started doing the coding, the train isn't like right at where I am, but I can hear it. And the train horn blew 4 times right after I wrote 4 as the only number for the coding today. Then the numerology deck cards that came up were teaching and learning, as the coding is all about teaching and learning today. But usually I don't let any of the cards cover the numerology cards, so I can see the complete title of what's written there. So it would normally say teaching and learning. But today I knew it was teaching and learning. It was just covering part of and, so I didn't mind. So one of the cards covered and, A and N. So now it read teaching, D, learning. And then you notice D is the number 4, which I didn't put the two together when this was happening. And the coding came up all around teaching and learning. The numbers were 4, just 4. 10 also came up, and that 221. And that's it for the numbers. And that rarely happens, but more so for the masculine than the feminine. The feminine usually comes up with more numbers than the masculine. Masculines are more verbal. Maybe that's why. But I was getting the high vibe of God, Creator. Also 10 grand was coming up here, and the King of Wands, the Master of Flames. I was getting ass, being an ass, and also sass, like being sassy to the nth degree. Like it's him admitting the error of his ways. And the teaching and learning, I was also getting to live and learn. You live and learn. So he's kind of like admitting where he wouldn't admit because of his pride. He wouldn't admit ever that he's wrong. It's like a Fonzie problem. It's a Fonzie wound. And then a car raced by, but usually, I know which direction, and even if I don't see it, I can like hear which way it went. But a car raced by at 10:32, and 32 is the 6 of Wands, the journey, the good news, the success, the attention. But when this car raced by, and I had no idea which direction it went. Then I was guided to write that down. That's the point. It doesn't matter which direction. It's just being present to it. Okay. So then 10G was coming up as that 10 grand, Master of Flames. Also Florida was coming up. My I am presence, and the feminine. I am present to my feminine. 10G is coming up. So G-force was coming up yesterday as well. So it might have something to do with that high, very high vibration, the G-force. Master of Fluidity. And I was getting him coming up as Master of Fluidity, the Divine Feminine, with him as Thoth was coming up, all right? Because that's math and sciences, so very up the masculine's alley. Then I was getting 10th Ray. 10th Ray is Pearlescent Gray, the 10th Kingdom, Blu-ray version. Blu-ray version comes up. So these were some headers that I pulled up from. I put in the 10th Ray because I was getting stuff about the 10th. So I was guided to put in the 10th Ray to see what comes up, the definition, like who was the master, that kind of stuff. And that led me on a whole new path, as they usually do. But the 10th Ray was coming up as the Pearlescent Gray, and the 10th Kingdom, which I hadn't heard of, but that's the Blu-ray version of that, the 10th Kingdom, which, by the way, if you don't know, is about Snow White, Cinderella, and Red Riding Hood, fragmented by trolls, giants, and goblins. So I'm not very familiar with it, so you know something about it that relates here, please put it in the comments. And of course, thank you guys for your comments and your likes and shares, subscribes. Please do subscribe, please comment. If you'd like to donate, you can below. All my information is there. My website's below, twinflames3344.com, as well as my email at gmail.com. But please comment and participate and help out when you can. And so there's going to be some more 10th Ray stuff coming up here. 10th Ray of Transparency, Ascended Master. Ray Conaway came up, 10th District City Council. Also from 1965, the 10th Victim came up, and that's also Blu-ray, on Blu-ray. So Blu-ray came up twice here. Then 10th International Workshop on X-ray radiation damage. And then photos came up, the 39 best moments from Rachel Ray's 10th feedback, her 10th anniversary of Foods and Festival for her. And then the 12 Rays of Light came up from LightGrid, NING.com. Okay, LightGrid, NING.com. I think there's a dot between the light grid and NING, but possibly not. But anyway, and then it said Lichtnetz, Lichtnetz, sounds very German, but Lichtnetz, and then Reddelluz, Reddleuz. So then we had already had number 4 come up, and D came up in the codings, and then I noticed I had written the DD, I outlined them again, so they stood out as DD. So I'm like, okay, there's definitely a message coming here between the D's and the 4s and the 10s. Pearlescent gold governed by Lady and Master Andromeda, the 12th ray. So then I was guided to that site, the light grid site, which gives you the 12 rays. And they were talking about how the 7 rays were through 1991. And then on January 26, 1991, five higher rays were anchored. All right, so this was so weird for me, because as soon as it said 7 rays, 1991, well, 1991 is the year that my son was born, my first child. And then January 26, 1991, where it changed to the higher rays specifically, is exactly when I conceived my son. He was born October 29th, okay? And he was due the 28th. So this changed to 12 rays 126, and I literally conceived between the 26th and the 29th of January. I know for sure. So it was so weird that that came up for Matthew. All right, so of course Matthew, the name, came up in my mind, and this was channeled from Kohan Saint Germain. Kohan. I'm not sure how it's formally pronounced, but someone can let me know if they want. But Saint Germain was coming up. It said 29-10-8. All right, so 10-8 came up in the time, but I just told you 10/29 is my son's birthday, and this was saying this was channeled. I guess it was 2008, but October 29th, and they were just talking about 1991 and the time my son was conceived. So this is all around my son. So then it went into the descriptions of the different rays. First, talking about the 3rd ray of manifestation, mainly, that Saint Germain is 3rd ray. He assists Lord Buddha mainly, but supervises rays 3 through 7 as extensions of 3. And that they wanted to make it clear that they change positions, so it's not always one master per ray, and that a lot of them work on many different rays. Many masters work with multiple rays, and they change, so keep an open mind about that stuff. So then I wanted to get into the rays because that was important, because here 4 and 10 were coming up, and the 4th ray is green, Master Paul the Venetian, and then Saint Germain again said he's with 3 through 7. And that's all about creative beauty, restorative qualities, and harmony. Anyway, that was number 4. You can look up that site again if you want all the definitions, because I don't want to take the time to read them all, but they're very interesting. And again, that site was the Light Grid, NING.com. It was titled 12 Rays of Light. So the 4 was the green, but then the 10th ray came up, which is why I went into the system in the first place. And the 10th ray is pearlescent gold, and it's Lady and Master Andromeda. And it literally said from rays 8 to 12 are the higher rays, right? The lower rays are 1 through 7, the higher rays 8 through 12. But here they call Creator, God, Source, whatever your title is, they call it here, where is it? Divine Director. All right, so you see a theme here? Divine Director is DD. So I started writing DD instead of Divine Director because I didn't want to write the whole word out. So now I have DD here. I already highlighted DDD, or DD in another one, and above that we have the letter D and the number 4. All right? So again, the 10th ray is pearlescent gold, Lady and Master Andromeda, and the Divine Director. And the Divine Director is attached to all the rays 8 through 12. And also, for the 10th, it's about the soul and the monad integration with worldly, monad integration. I can't read the word I wrote there, but with Creator, understanding your mighty soul and your true divinity. So it's that integration of you with your higher self, basically, and your monad group, the 10th ray. I was also getting it having to do with prosperity, eternal peace, abundance, financial freedom, and opulence. And just generally, the 11th ray is orange-pink of joy, and then 12 is luminosity. So it's golden opal color, and it's just selfless service, enthusiasm, joy. The office of Christ is considered 12. It anchors to all the rays. And it's transformation, change, rebirth. That's 12. Okay, but 10 and 4 were coming up as very significant here. Okay, so was there something else up here? Okay, and then also when I wrote down that there was rain today, because I usually write down if it's sunny or rainy, I was getting love, rain on me. All right, so then I looked up Matthew, which I know what it means because I named my son Matthew for that reason. It's gift of God or gift of Yahweh, but also Matthew as a disciple was actually Levi, a tax collector, and David. There's a David attached to that as well, but for me, I always felt like my son Matthew was my great-grandfather David Lubin, because David Lubin had a scar on his cheek from being burned by the Sabbath flame when he was born, and my son scratched himself in the exact same spot when he was a baby. So I knew that he was connected to David Lubin. And it's so funny because he was like a militant do-gooder, my great-grandfather, and he also is coming up as Matthew/Levi is his real name, right? The tax collector. Well, my great-grandfather, David Lubin, knew Levi Strauss. I mean, my great-grandfather invented the flap for the Levi zipper with the coal miners with Levi Strauss, okay? So here's another connection to Matthew. And just being the tax collector, my great-grandfather was very politically connected. And his, let's see, also Mark called him Levi, and my son's father's name is Mark. And the son of Alphaeus, tax collector, he did tax collecting and also shorthand for Herod. And that allowed him to move comfortably around in political circles because he wasn't competing with anyone, you know. And then I was getting another connection to St. Francis and to Aaron, which was my grandfather. So that was very interesting because I always thought like my son was my great-grandfather and that his cousin was my grandfather, Aaron, in reincarnation. And now it's bringing it back to that my son may have been both. But I don't know if my grandfather, I don't know when my great-grandfather passed away. But anyway, you get the meaning. So it's leading me on and on and on to this other information. And then I look up my son's nickname is Chew because he couldn't say Matthew when he was little, and he used to say Machu. So his nickname was Chew. And so I just put in Chew just for the hell of it to see what would come up. And of course, Grand Master Chew came up. And that was Su Lang Jen, who's 38 years old and achieved his Dhamma I through Buddhism and Taoism. So that was kind of cool coming up. And then as I started to read, number 210 or 12, and 210 translating in Roman numerals CCX. Oh, I didn't pick that up. But my dad's name was Constantine Cope, so he was CC. So he's bringing that through now just as a connection for me. But the number that came up with the read was 210, which I looked up the number 210 for the area code to see what else would come up. And it's San Antonio, but number 12 came up also as completion. We just got done doing 12 cycles of the rays. Also, the year 210 came up as the year of consulship of Faustinus and Rufinus. And I was getting Rufi when I wrote Rufinus. So Faustinus and Rufinus. The consulship. There wasn't much else going on in 2010, or 210. Also, North Shore's premium live entertainment and dining destination is 210. I guess that's the name of the restaurant. And then also, May 10th of that year was Claudius II in Rome, if that resonates with anyone. So getting right into the read, the Queen of Cups is the underlying energy, with opposition, not opposition. There may be some opposition since I said that. The Queen of Cups with an opportunity to expand and be vulnerable. And 2 of 10 in the family were coming up here, but they're low on the totem pole, like they're at the bottom of the stack in the pyramid. Or a child with a story of a fight, maybe at school, where they were defenseless. Or kids in athletics feeling defenseless to these strong energies coming in right now. Or the Queen of Cups feels pushed out of the family along with one child. Or there's an opportunity for her to compete for better placement within the family pyramid. And then I was getting a pyramid scheme. So this is all around the Divine Masculine. I was definitely getting this as karmic energy. I mean, if it fits you as a Divine Feminine, that's fine. Place it where it fits, but don't force it. But I was getting this as karmic energy. The King of Swords lover feels twin is a pure, innocent little girl, or is watching her back along with her father, who may be here or not, who's helping, guiding him, the Divine Masculine. A prisoner may make an offer to the Divine Feminine or the Divine Masculine's daughter to find peace by rushing in with the truth to the Queen of Cups and family, so the karmic in their family. Or a friend of the prisoner or hostage, it could be just someone with anxiety imprisoned in their head, but it could be a literal prisoner as well. Or a friend of the prisoner, whoever that may be in this situation, or hostage, offers help or money to the Divine Masculine's daughter or to his twin. Or the Divine Masculine comes to the Divine Feminine for help with his daughter to find a more peaceful place with harsh messages to the Queen of Cups and family. So Divine Masculine might talk to his Divine Feminine either about helping with healing with the child and or the karmic, or maybe to ask them to stop talking about the family, that kind of stuff. Or a friend of the Divine Feminine asks for the Divine Masculine and his daughter to tell the truth about what's really happened. Maybe they knew about something that wasn't true, telling the truth to the Queen of Cups and family, so the masculine's karmic and her family or his family. One with anxiety issues and trapped in their mind will find peace if someone tells their truth. The gate is wide open, although unsteady ground for the truth to be presented, possibly of slave labor related to, so there could be slave labor complaints coming up at someone's business, but it's being related to slavery and the cotton fields. One side with nothing and barren, and the other is not sharing, trying to get their footing and balance on ever-changing emotional waters, clearing the path, the front gateway for knight in shining armor to pass through to get to prisoner. The innocent in pink is now all grown up. So that can relate to the masculine's view of the Divine Feminine, who he thought was all this innocent and now sees her as who she is, or it could relate to his daughter, who's now all grown up and could be leaving the nest. And I don't usually get a child as one or the other, but this was definitely coming up as the daughter. Okay. So I turned the page. It's 11:58, and 58 is that 58 is the Four of Swords, and that Annie Lennox, Sweet Dreams Are Made of These, also came up at 9:58. So at 11:58, out grounding and integrating for new life offer of rejected friend, now offering something practical. So here's coming the masculine to the feminine, or feminine to the masculine. It was just 24:42. 24 is the Queen of Wands, and 42 is the partnership. Okay. So there's a new life offer of rejected friend now offering something practical, whether it's the masculine offering something practical to the feminine or vice versa, but definitely could be the masculine coming forward, because that's the way the read was going. Possibly an exchange of hard work and or assistance for the harsh truth, and possibly about drinking. Or grounding a new life, the masculine, with just his kids, one doing well and helping and the other is feeling rejected. Or just being that, the baby, complaining about everything. It's not like temper tantrums, but it's the crybaby energy. Moving forward from beach and water, or baby blue and yellow curtains, to gardens and shrubbery to decorate the yard. So people might be thinking about, getting their yard started, the cleanup for the spring. New love came up as the underlying energies, and beneath that was playfulness. It was just 2544 coming up. And now 2552. Okay, so 2544 is the Knight of Wands with mastering your passions, passionately riding in. And then it was 2552, which is the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Swords. Okay, so that was definitely reflecting here between the masculine Knight of Wands and the karmic was coming up as the Queen of Swords today, not the feminine, which is very interesting. Okay, so it could be two different karmics, and they could all play as different things depending on where you are in your journey. So you put them to the people as you see them, but don't force it to fit. That's all I ask. But someone might be, playing with their yards to see what they want to do. New love came up as the underlying energy and playfulness, and then the Queen of Swords is aligning with the mirror as the King of Wands. So it could be the more minor arcana Queen of Wands could be the feminine, but there's a major arcana from the main read from the Sirian Starseed deck as the last card for the Queen of Swords, and that was not coming up as the Divine Feminine. So they could both be represented that way. The Queen of Swords is aligning with the mirror as the King of Wands gives hugs goodbye. So now the Queen of Swords aligning with mirror as the King of Wands gives hugs goodbye. So now one can leap to the other for a staged new life surprise and a hello hug. Possibly mountains getaway or meal at home or hotel with altar set up and stars aligned. Walking a fine line on the edge of time. Watching out for snakes at their feet, just waiting to trip them up before the home run. And then blue curtains were coming up as well. Can the Divine Feminine trust his intentions though? Okay. But then surrender comes up. So surrender is the underlying energy is 91. And the opposite of 91 is 19, is the Sun. Okay? So you have to trust and allow. As long as there's not something, if you're being disrespected or not treated right, obviously they have to prove to you that they're going to treat you right. But you have to allow for the surrender as well. And underneath that was 14 of moderation. So stay balanced in order to surrender. Traveling at night by the moon's light, bundled in warmth of blue and white fur, with 3 sets of blue eyes to offer some love, a huge cup proposal of truth if she'll still have him, if it's not too late, if her ship has not sailed. Maybe a dawn surprise to catch her off guard before she thinks. Because the masculine doesn't want her to think, because he's worried she'll change her mind. A grand display of truth, blue ribbons and sapphire blue, a gift of something written, a gift of truth, and you notice all the blue is throat chakra, a gift of the truth that she is the cover to his sword, that tempers his sharp edge, that brings cool when there's too much energy and heat. The space between the words is the blue between his red and gold and her green and gold. His red has learned to love and her green to manifest. And between them is the third energy of the whole truth and the gold Christ consciousness. And Blu-ray wings sings music of the spheres. Our truths intertwine to become one, happily chained together, floating as one. Watch out for the rats in the grass that spook your horse into throwing you off course. And then I was getting, come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me. And that was at 12:28. 28 is the twins, okay? Divine Masculine plans offering to the Divine Feminine after telling karmic the truth. New love, surprise, surrender. And this is all just the underlying energy. So then getting into the read recently, 4 flames. So now we have the 4 of Wands in the recent past. And this read was all about the number 4. 4 flames in a bold move to make a fool of himself and dump all emotional attachments to clear and or a Cancer, and I was getting it as karmic energy, foolishly gives everything away after drinking. The divine feminine needs grounding, grounding, grounding. The foundation is the King of Cups with the left eye exposed. So now he's using his left eye, not just his right eye. Coming together at the workplace, but frazzled and impatient. Around the truth and new love. Centrally is the Lover's card. Twins haven't been expressing their feelings about family and emotional fulfillment. That he wants to offer something practical to add to her abundance. His Empress, confession and or manual labor, hung up on her and wants to help maybe with the yard. The challenge being the King of Wands shaman in the aftermath of walking away from him. The King of Wands grieving loss of no love lost between them, or his insincerity about karmic and him drinking and missing his twin. So it could be some no love lost between them, but also division of assets here. And time between. So the challenge being the King of Wands shaman in aftermath of walking away from him. The King of Wands and time. The King of Wands grieving loss of no love lost between them and division of assets and time between the karmic Sagittarius and 5D world in separation. Okay, so there's a couple different energies coming up here. There's definitely karmic female Sagittarius that was coming up, as well as karmic King of Wands. And there could be 2 representations of the King of Wands, the shaman King of Wands and a regular King of Wands. So it could definitely be 2 energies, because your masculine could definitely have some of that energy in his makeup. So it doesn't have to be sun sign or moon, and it can even be, you know, Venus, Mars energies. Okay, so you don't have to stick exactly to the sign that it represents, because we all have different signs in our makeup, okay? So now crowning the masculine's read here is the Tower. Lightning putting out fires. I'm going to show you. I did get my picture here. All right. Just need 1 second. I want to get the cards for you to show you. They're just all buried. All right. Okay. So this was the underlying energy, the Queen of Cups, but she also had the family behind her here. Okay. So this is the Queen of Cups with the family backing. Then we had the 4 of Wands here from the Sirian Starseed deck. That's the recent past. The foundation. It was just 3313, which is the Christ vibration. That's also standing up for yourself. And 13 is transformation, and this big change, transformation. The central card is the Lovers. Okay, that beautiful rainbow. We're talking about all the rays and the colors. And the challenge is the shaman, the Master of Flames. It could be him standing in his inner shaman against another King of Wands who's not a shaman, or vice versa. And then the crowning is the Tower here. Okay, so there's lots of lightning and new fires to clean up. Okay. So now crowning is the Tower, lightning and putting out fires. As the Queen of Cups reversed, could be Aquarius or just healing and not an Aquarius, healing her light by overspending, or just not in her power nor independent. Recovering the King of Swords back to the King of Pentacles, he's recovering himself back to his mastering abilities, for more options for the Queen of Pentacles to ground her more. So in the beginning, underlying energies, the masculine was talking about the person he wants to come forward to as him seeing her as the Queen of Pentacles reversed, ungrounded, because he knows what he's done, or she just needs grounding anyway with his, you know, because you feel each other, so if he gets excited, she needs to keep grounding. But she's coming up here again, that the King of Swords, he's recovering, because he wants to get back to his King of Pentacles, which then would match with the Queen of Pentacles, to ground her more. Also synchronicities, and he's receiving guidance from those synchronicities. The Queen of Cups reversed is awakening to her own victim mentality as the karmic, to let go of wounds, and suddenly giving to others, and balanced, wanting a new passion with lover. Okay, so this is the masculine, suddenly giving to others, back to work, getting balanced again after having been knocked down for a while, wanting new passion with lover. Third party heartbreak, tugging each other's heartstrings. He's leaving situation with karmic Sag drinker for his wish in the 5D world, the space between the bulls, the thorn of the rose, to expand and do the right thing for him and close that gap of separation with truth and balanced sharing. Okay? So soon is the Ascension card here. Ascension, completion, achievement, and closure. Dropping all his burdens, confessing, and implementing a plan to expand further. Prisoner and/or anxiety of frustration and lack of inspiration of the King of Pentacles reversed and the Queen of Swords reversed. So that's him and his, it could be him and his karmic and his divine feminine, because maybe neither are talking to him or one's being verbally abusive to him. His pride and greed and status and arrogance in the way, and her mourning her truth and needing to express it, sharp words or silent treatment in the way. Both wounds of war and abandonment. Safety, security, and protecting the heart from being broken again. And then I was getting where have all the flowers gone? Okay, because that's where have all the little girls gone? Picking flowers. Well, where have all the flowers gone? Picking flowers by little girls. Where have they all gone? They're now married to their men. Where have all the men gone? They've gone to war. Where have all they gone? They've gone to graveyards. And then where have all the graveyards gone? Gone back to flowers. So it's showing the cycle of life, but it's been, and Spirit's connecting with me, it's been tradition. That's been our template, and we're changing that now. So it doesn't have to be that anymore. The enemy is taking on, the template was the enemy taking on the emperor, right? For greed, for land, for power, instead of love, truth, and balance. The divine masculine is his own destiny, his own fortune. Long death march of the Queen of Wands reversed, making bad decisions and deliberating forever to manipulate in her favor. The cards that came up were, and this is how the masculine seeing himself, is the Great Wheel. Love yourself first, deception, that someone's wearing a self mask. Finances and career are affecting your love life. Let your friends help you. These are all for the divine masculine. Connect. When I wrote down, that we're going from the wounds of war, being abandonment, safety, security, and protecting the heart from being broken again, and that it was all about the enemy taking on, when the enemy attacked another country because they wanted power, they wanted greed, they wanted land. Instead of love, truth, and balance, I was getting major connection there. But now the masculine learning that he's his own destiny, he's his own good fortune, and that the karmic's been manipulating him to make this go on and on and on and last forever, to make it land in her favor. Also, I was getting energy from last night, that the masculine, when, sometimes the masculine would come up as the Queen of Wands, so he was seeing himself not as him. He was always seeing himself as her. Like he'd given up so much of himself to her that now he wasn't even him anymore. He was just her puppet. That's how he's been coming up, as seeing himself. He allowed her to take over. He's knowing that it's not her fault, because he allowed her to take over his life and think for him, to avoid making his own decisions, and possibly the wrong decisions, which is the wounds of war, right? Because he was possibly responsible for many lives lost when he was in power before. And now trying to make up for the selfish choices he made in other lives, and even this one, and making unnecessary restitution, because it's never our choice to make up for things. It's always the universe that does it naturally. And then I turned the page. It's now 11:59. So we went from 11:58 twice, or 58 twice, to now 59, which is the 11th hour. It's the minute before the hour. It was just 39:44, which is mastering the Knight of Cups, which is being love. So the masculine learning not to be the Page of Cups, but be the Knight of Cups, and then the Queen and King of Cups. Around the Divine Masculine, or how he is seen, is the Guidance card, which is traditionally the Hierophant, but we're not doing tradition here. The guidance, commitment, destiny of unconditional love, God. Choosing path of ultimate family legacy, the Christ consciousness, not sacrifice. Clear blocks of indigo rebel, of magician, the outsider who needs to get in. Letting go of savings to patch things up to make everybody fine, right? Overworking, unable to focus, sacrificing his time, energy, and money. Also, the need to give the Queen of Pentacles a mild verbal lashing to get closure. So that could be to the karmic or the Divine Feminine. And then I was getting 1, dun, 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 2, dun, 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 3. So now we're going back to Jesus Christ Superstar with the 39 lashes. This is a wound. All right, the 39 lashes torture before the final crucifixion, in front of family, community, his love, and then his crown of thorns became his enlightenment, the Christ consciousness, his balance and spirits. And right there, and I'm getting really strong connection right now, and I was getting a really strong connection when I wrote that. So important, all right? The torture before the crucifixion, in front of family, community, his love, Mary Magdalene, his crown, the thorny crown, the thorns of the rose, was his crowning achievement, his enlightenment, his Christ consciousness, his balance, teaching and learning. And that was 104 when I connected. So we had the 4 again, okay? He's saying 4, 4, 4. Creativity, teaching and learning, but even more so creativity, that the King of Cups finds peace with the Queen of Pentacles, who she could be, she is grieved. It's coming up 2 ways here at the end of the read. The Queen of Pentacles is grieving the initial split, the thorn, the trigger, the friction, the catalyst. She's been protecting herself ever since from the magician manipulator, ever since she split from her twin. And this is in this life, but also from 0 point, from when your soul first split. So, and it doesn't mean you're half a soul, okay? It's just the energy. You have a piece of your soul still in the etheric realms as well. But when you guys first parted from each other, and so there was always going to be a hole. That was your initial abandonment issue. So the feminine's been protecting herself ever since from that magician manipulator of her flame, with now a friendly offer of transformation of abandonment wounds and justice for his divine feminine, who is not her grief. She's now seeing, I am not my grief, but a loving, grounded, beautiful, natural, practical woman. The masculine seeing this. Once the feminine is detoxed from grief and in loving self, connected to higher self, or the divine director, prime creator. You know, prime creator's PC, publicly or politically correct. Well, we're not being political here anymore. So I really like that DD as a divine director, right? So I was kind of focused on that. So then I looked up the DD, but before I go into that, this is what we're clearing, is that indigo energy of the magician, that there's something wrong with the magician, that he's a manipulator, not a manipulator of energy in order to improve things, right? So this goes back to witches and warlocks, but also the indigo child, who may be rebellious and difficult, and you don't know why, because their energy is higher than ours. It could be autistic child as well, someone who's bipolar or ADHD. It could just be because they're a higher vibrational person, and they're very impatient because no one can keep up with their energy, okay? And then the outcome card, or the solution card, is this Queen of Swords. So you see she's got a hand on the sword. She's pulling the switch. This is the switch. This was the divine feminine grieving her masculine from their initial split, the abandonment wound. Now the sword, Excalibur, is being pulled again, and now this becomes the karmic, because now she grieves the relationship, and the divine feminine wakes up, is no longer in mourning. After the Queen of Wands, and I'm not finished the read yet, there's still more here, it's just 444, is karma, the judgment card. the lotus opening, okay, completely to the etheric realms. That karma is complete, okay? So then I was going into DD as Divine Director, another title for God, for Source Creator, however you want to put it, love. So now we have Divine Director. So I looked up DD, and number one, I want to mind you that DD is 44, mastering your energies, and 44 is 8, which is 0 point, and never-ending creation, and it is the H. They're all the same. It's God, okay? So I look up the DDs, and it was so funny, and it's God's sense of humor. I first looked up in the medical dictionary, which I couldn't believe it. It first says under the medical dictionary, data definition and developmental disability. And then 2 diseases came up. Danon's disease, which I've never heard of before, and Dago's disease. Danon's disease, a rare X-linked lysosomal storage disease, whose clinical features often include cardiomyopathy, skeletal myopathy, and mental retardation. Well, does that sound familiar? I'm going to say it again. Danon's disease, rare X-linked, so it's kind of a funny too, right? A disease of the twins. So a rare X-linked, your disease is linked to your X. Lysosomal storage disease, whose clinical features often include cardiomyopathy, so diseases of the heart, the bones, and mental retardation, right? Your brain totally slowing down. Sound familiar? So now you are a disease, Danon's disease. All right, and I have those issues. We all have those issues now, but I always had a clotting issue, and I took it back to vitamin deficiencies. But then there's this Dago's disease, D-E-G-O-S, which no one has ever brought up to me before. It's a rare vasculitis that damages small blood vessels. Initially tissue infarction with skin, but some with widespread and occasionally fatal tissue infarction in the GI tract or other organs. So my problem was I was constantly clotting off little vessels in my fingers and toes. And the vitamin deficiency definitely helped to correct that when I corrected my Ds, and it was mostly vitamin D3. But it also talks about infarction of the GI tract, and I had C. diff when I was an infant, and I think I lost my inferior mesenteric artery, which is a major feeder to the small intestines. So I've always had digestive issues. So no one, this relates to everything that I've been through disease-wise, and no one has ever brought up that to me. So I love that Spirit brought this up. Okay, then we have DD as differential display, gene screening technique used to analyze the ways to which different types of messenger RNA are expressed in organisms. And then dystrophy was coming up under DD, disorder caused by defective nutrition and or metabolism. All right, so that brings up my issues. And it wasn't just bringing up one kind of dystrophy, it was bringing up all dystrophies and breaking it down. It literally breaks it down when it shows the pronunciation of it. Dystrophy, right? The bad trophy wife. So everything was coming up so funny. So I had to write down and tell you some of the DDs, because there's a long list of DDs in the free dictionary. So I looked up the medical dictionary free and then the free dictionary. So just going to run through them really quickly because they're very funny. Okay. Deny and deception. Digital deliveries. Write our downloads. And what I'm giving you now is a digital delivery. Darn devil. Differential Doppler, which is sound waves. Directive documentation. NASA. Damaged dwelling. So I love the damaged dwelling because next to it says FEMA next to it, which I'm not sure what FEMA is, which you can tell me below if you want in the comments, but I was getting the feminine. The feminine is God's, this is God, right? We're talking about divine director. Is saying that they're the damaged dwelling. The house is the feminine. The heart is the home. Then I was getting direct downlink, all right, which we constantly get, right? Disconnecting divine, or disconnecting device. right? Because he's basically disconnected all parts of himself in order for us to expand and exist. Fractaling, okay? So disconnecting device, designated drunk and designated driver. So you see, he's both of the opposites. The integrating of the what's the word? I'm just blanking out, but you know what I mean. Okay, I say it all the time. I'm sorry. This is my my mental retardation that we've all experienced in this journey. Discharged dead, like so. When someone leaves dead, discharged dead. This is God. And then I love this. Dono. I don't know how it's pronounced. It's Latin. Dono dedit or dedit. But if you break it down, it's like do no dead it or dunno dead it. Like I did it already. And due diligence is coming up right next to it. But Latin, it means Latin gave this offering. So God offered himself to fractalize, to become all of you so that you could expand and he could expand, he or she, it can expand themselves. Then I was getting decimal divide, which for me that came up as the space between the words. Decimal divide. Deep drought. Doctor of divinity. Drugs and disease. You see how it's a play off of both ends. He's the cure and the disease. I keep saying he, she. The cure and the ailment. Also, Dutch door came up. There's something else Dutch that came up as well. And Elizabeth might like that. Double Dutch, distilled, deionized water. So that might be important to look up. Disc diameter. All right, so disc diameter. What does that look like? Pi. Depersonalization disorder. Right, becoming one to depersonalize it. Dimensional drawing. Dual density. Drunk and disorderly. Dead duck. Divine divinity. Digestive disease, which we were just talking about. Double digits. 2. Double D's. And dishonorable discharge. Double dare. So he likes the double dare. Dear darling daughter. So it's darling daughter or dear daughter. Double diamond. Devil dog, which is so funny because my brother's Dan, we used to call him Dan dog. Dead dog. Dungeons and Dragons. Double dipping, so God likes double dipping. And drop dead. Yes, because then you come home to me. And due date. So how do you like that? Pretty cool. So don't forget the 4. And 4 is the union of stability. So we're all about Trinity always. It's always about 3. And it's like God saying there needs to be housing for the 3, because the 3 is the creativity. It's never ending, right? But there needs to be a grounding there of the home, the union, the stability. And he's saying, that's me. I am your grounding. I am your stability, your connection with your higher self. Okay. So 2 high vibe messengers of truth. Intervention. There's maybe an intervention. Someone may intervene on someone if they're having addiction issues. And this could be applying to this Queen of Cups. The King of Cups, destined guidance, commitment to home and union, to lover. Challenged by the King of Wands, shaman, closure with indigo child. A sudden event or epiphany about the Queen of Swords and karma. And the lotus opening as the Queen of Cups detoxes, either alcohol or being dumped. The Queen of Swords is surrounded by magician, which can be Aries, Gemini, or Virgo, depending on who you talk to with magician. So the Queen of Swords is coming up at the end here, surrounded by this magician energy, 2 of them. The injured, a judge or Libra energy, and Queen of Pentacles, who's peaceful with the King of Cups. Last rites were coming up, as well as final judgments in court cases and divorces. So last rites, so someone might be passing away as well, but I wasn't getting something unexpected. It could be an older person. Suddenly karmic gets it. that the divine masculine and divine feminine are together now. It's like the masculine came out with us at a party, which will come up in the read in a minute, or he's just presenting himself with his twin. There's a decision of a third party or for a third party in split decision. Cancer, grieving, and wanting protection by manipulation. So still the karmic is still up to her old tricks as far as trying to get protection from the masculine through manipulative efforts in order to come to peace with the King of Cups. The Queen of Swords here is coming up as the Queen of Cups karmic in a final divorce. Decision came down due to overindulgences and her lying. Magician got clarity at night, or came to light that he's drained without his sunshine, or ill due to mental abuse, half-truths and or sneakiness, or lies, or Leo causing harm to themselves, right, to manipulate, or he is just sick of the lies. Leo reversed, out of control and ignorant or unaware of the present moment, like no intuition, needing the courage to go through ego death, or a Leo and Aries and Pisces deserve each other. Three amigos all lied, and now everything is gone. They all came up reversed. Face off of master manipulators, the magician to magician in split, with gossip and final decisions. No more pity please. Someone must face the music. Queen of Cups home or celebration with family, ungrounded, with truth coming out from a Knight of Cups, moving on to Empress lover. The King of Cups lover with sudden event or epiphany regarding the Queen of Cups and the King of Wands, shaman energy, seeing with left eyes, feminine side now. So I'm getting to the karmic could have had an affair with the masculine's brother, partner, friend, okay, as another King of Wands. So he may have caught wind of this now, or he's just tired of them lying and manipulating. Maybe they have a partnership or business together, but is now, his eyes are wide open, his left eye is open. Destined completion and ascension end for Queen of Wands reversed. Judgment not in her favor. Marriage to indigo or indigo child not awarded to her in a final judgment. Now she is in mourning. The divine feminine is no longer the Queen of Swords. All is once more right with the world at present. Okay, so it's coming literally as a changing of the guards, that now the karmic goes into the beginning of her journey and the divine feminine is finished, and they come into union. So I'm going to pull some cards for you. I know that was a long one, but I guess we're not too much longer than usual. All right, so we have Ascension deck. I was getting that in the recent past with that Four of Wands, it could have been a family party of some kind, where the masculine outed himself in front of everybody to the karmic so that she would have no way out of manipulating him. So that's what I was getting. Or someone could actually bring their feminine to an event to say, you know, we're together now, and we're not, because the karmic wasn't getting it, even though they broke up already, something like that. All right, so Ascension. Take a deep breath, guys. Today is March 10, 2019. March 10, 2019. March 10, 2019. All right, so for March 10, 2019, and everyone watching, the best and highest good of all those concerned, what do we need to know, what do we need to learn? And again, we're going to Divine Director. Divine Director today. Okay, Divine Director. What do we need to know, what do we need to learn? What is your guidance? More? Okay, that's it. Okay. What's our divine guidance from Divine Director? All we need is the air that I breathe. Okay, that's definitely coming up, and that is number 12, right? The 12 rays, the 12 completion, everything's coming around that. I invoke air to carry angel singing, okay, the music of the spheres also. Sing around the world and bring hope and peace. On a wing and a prayer. So then the cards that came out, I'm not going to read them all. Now they're bringing out numbers for me to get more messages for you guys. So we have 1, which is Mother Mary's Aquamarine Mantle. And, they want me to bring up for the rays, because Aquamarine Mantle is... So the 8th ray, when they changed to the higher rays, the 8th ray is aquamarine. It's seafoam green or aquamarine is Lady Nada and Divine Director. And it's about cleansing, purifying. It's the 4th, 7th, and 5th rays with white, so their colors plus white, and that's where it switches to the higher rays. So it's basically Divine Directors telling you you've now switched to his territory, because he doesn't come in here as one of the partners until the 8th ray. Very cool, and that's Lady Nada. How perfect is that? Okay, so that's Mother Mary's Aquamarine Mantle is also Aquamarine, which is 52, which is the Queen of Swords. That's the card that comes out, and I'll read that one in a minute, but let's see what the numbers are telling us. Okay, then we have 4 cards, the 1 and then 4, and then 2. Oh, 2, check it out. And then another bunch came out, 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Shut the door. You guys have graduated to the higher octaves of the rays. Anyone who's watching today, that's your message. These are the last 3, Fire, Archangel Metatron's Retreat, and Buddha. And Buddha definitely came up in one of the assessments I told you guys about today. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So 1, 2 is buckle my shoe. 3, 4 is shut the door. Shut the door to the past. Put your shoes on, walk out the door, and don't look back. But we also have 1, 3, 2, 4. Ah, it's so cool how they show me this. All right, so it's the circular loops. It's showing it's all about energy. It's not a straight, it's never a straight line. You're always going up and back and up and back and up and back. So saying 1, 4, 2, 3, okay, it's always changing. It's ever changing. Even the names of the rays and who's governing them. All right, so we have Mother Mary's Aquamarine Mantle, which says, the wondrous universal angel Mary radiates her higher frequency aquamarine light throughout the universes. She spreads compassion, empathy, kindness, healing, and love. Mother Mary suggests you open your heart and offer everyone who touches your path these higher qualities. Then she will grace you by placing her aquamarine mantle in your aura. You're reminded that there is only love, so there is nothing to forgive. As you wear this mantle, you become a force for healing and light, and the angels will sing blessings over you. The affirmation is, I wear Mother Mary's mantle of love and enfold others in it. And I was just getting the mantle as referencing to his crown, his thorns. It's making me want to cry because it's his mom. That his crown were the thorns of the rose, his crowning achievement, his balance. Remember when I said that the Christ consciousness was his mother comforting him. You know how your mother's always thorny? That when she hurts you, it's because she's trying to bless you. He's telling that to me too, right, about my mom. So I'm going to show you these all because they seem pretty significant. Okay, so we have fire dragons, number 7, which is the chariot. We have Lady Nada, which came up as the 8th ray of the higher rays, okay? And 8th is purification. That the crown was the purification. Dolphins is 23 is the King of Wands, which came up. Lady Nada was 45, which is the grieving process. It's the 5 of Cups. But you need to go through all the steps. You can't avoid them. And then nature is 3, but you can learn how to master them. And it was just 444. So 3 is Mother Nature, it's the Empress. Oh, I forgot. And when you add them up, it's 10. The 10th ray is where this all started from in my read, and 10 is the high vibration, moving to the 8th ray of the higher vibrations, the 8 to 12. Okay? Just 10 cards. Then we have Nature, 3 with the dolphins of 5, 9, 7. 3, 5, 7, 9. And leave the space between the words. And these are the the odd numbers are the triggers, right? The 3, the 5, the 7, the 9. So when you get all comfortable and stable, those are the expansion energies. Always the odd numbers push you to expand further. And they're showing us 3, 5, 7, and 9. So it goes from nature of the 3D, the 3 of the 3D, to dolphins of the 5D, because we have 23-5 as the King of Wands, coming up with the dolphins. The man of passion, that the dolphins are very passionate. And I'm getting them like playing, like, they're all excited, they're jumping, like this is the energy I'm getting from them right now. Very excitable. And they're so happy for us. Dolphin sonics purify. Alright, because purify is the 8th ray and raise the frequency of water as they swim through it, and they can access, maintain, and pass on the wisdom of golden Atlantis and Lemuria. Those dolphins who shimmer with aquamarine light were the angels of Atlantis. They are mighty beings who help hold the frequency of the oceans. Choosing this card invites you to tune into the beautiful dolphins and access a message from them. And I'm just getting this I'm just getting really excited like that. You are guidance to relax and flow with the current of ascension, knowing that the dolphins are telepathically imparting help and wisdom to you. It's like all of that, the excitement of tiny little kids who are all like super excited about something. All right, make that 100-fold. That's the energy I was getting from the dolphins. And then so we go from the 3 of the 3D to the dolphins of the 5D, which is obviously dolphins are above 5D, but it's taking us to the 5D with the King of Wands energy. And then the fire dragons of the 7D. Or the 7th ray. Now we're talking dimensions. The fire dragons of the 7th dimension, but they're talking about 4th dimensional elementals. They access and transmute heavy vibrations that angels can't reach. So you have to go through the 4th level, and that's why it's saying it expands to the 7th dimension. That Archangel Gabriel oversees Thor and his fire dragons. To consume negativity in places and auras, and then ask Gabriel's angels to replace those lower energies with shimmering diamond pure light. All right, so it's all about purification today, and to make sure to always, whenever you clear, make sure to replace it with. They're saying to use diamond pure light, but I always say, you know, filling with only beautiful organic love and light. You can use that as diamond light, shimmering diamond of pure light, and then we get to 90, which is 45 of Lady Nada, who's, you know, the twin of Jesus's higher self, Sananda. The master of 7th ray of ritual and magic. That ceremonies are called and mighty forces are important, so you're reminded to bring people together to raise great light. Bringing back ancient healing methods. Helping the development of intuition, telepathy, wisdom, and acting for justice. Your guidance is to trust your spiritual and psychic abilities and use them to help those in need. The affirmation being, I accept and practice my healing, spiritual, and psychic gifts. So make sure that you are. Excuse me, I just needed a little moisture on my lips. And then of course I showed you Jesus and Mary Magdalene, which are 40 and 35. So it's the wounded warrior, and the page 40 is the Page of Cups. But Jesus is the Page of Cups, and Mary Magdalene is the wounded warrior. It's like the masculine coming forward to recognize that. that he is the innocent, but she is the one who has fought for him. She's the one who cleared the way. It's making me want to cry again. She was the one who cleared his path so that he could grow from his Page of Cups. And it's just calling me to pick up Mother Mary to bring them together. Okay? So the mother and her children. And then the fire. These three fire archangels, Metatron's retreats 28 and 33. So the 13 is of transformation, that there's always change. It's fire. It's the catalyst, the change, you know, the irritation. And Metatron's retreat 28. 28 is the Two of Wands. There's always going to be a Y in the road. It's constant, perpetual co-creation, and Metatron's readying the masculines for this, since they are the leaders in that. But need to transform, the change. Some of them have difficulty with change. And then Buddha is the 33 of the Christ vibration and standing. Metatron's helping them to come forward and stand up for themselves in these changes. The Y in the road, where they have to now choose another path, and they'll be constantly choosing new paths. Whew. I love that. She brought up the 1, 2, 3, 4, the circular motion of the energy, and the 10 of the high vibration, and the 10th ray, which we're focusing on. And it was just 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Now it's 1, 11, 2, 2. So all the ones, it's very it's divine director. And the 22 is the Fool's Journey. That leap of faith to connect to him. I guess he likes that name. All right. He, she, it. What do I say? DD or double D's. That's what I'm getting. Pretty funny. I'm going to call him her, him, it. Double D. It's hard not to say her or him, right? Double D. Double dare. That way it can be something different every day, because we just went through a whole list of double D's. And they're saying, yep, exactly. It's never about playing by the rules. And my father would be the first one to say that, right? It's about being the rule breaker in a good way. Take another deep breath, guys. All right, this is for the past life deck. All right, Divine Director, double D. For this March 10, 2019. March 10, 2, I have to write it down. I'm getting something about that. 12. All right, so it's bringing up again that it's 12. The year is 12 for the for confirmation of completion again, and then it's March 10, which adds up to I'm getting 31, but it's also the 10 plus the 3 of March is 13. So it's the reflection of the 13 and the 31 again, which comes up a lot for us as it's 1331. That's so much fun. Okay, so 13 is change, transformation, death, and then 31 is expansion. It's the 5 of Wands energy. So cool. And then we have the 12 of completion. So 13 is that step beyond the end. Okay, because there's never ending expansion. So for everyone watching, the best and highest good of all those concerned, what do we need to know? What do we need to learn? Divine Director. Okay. On the bottom of the deck, was there something else? Yep. Divine. I don't know if those last two. Okay, but the bottom is Native American. They're going to keep coming out. He'll probably put out, DD will probably put out the whole deck. Native American is the underlying energy. To be yourself, to be natural, to be authentic. To separate the wheat from the chaff. And you see there's a filter here. Use your filter to discriminate, to discern. Interesting. I never saw that before. I'm seeing like green and piles of money, coins, outside the tent. Leave finances outside of your space, your private space. That does not belong in the heart or the home. I'm getting a measuring cup here too. Oh, and don't measure like tit for tat. Don't measure that. Don't measure how many wrongs and rights someone did. And I'm saying I'm getting that this is like your poop. It all goes out with the trash. Okay? Filter it all out. Let it go. All the negativity. All right? That's the separating the wheat from the chaff, the good from the bad, the positive from the negative. Okay? That's the underlying energy. I love how they do that. All right, so first came out were the dolphins. They're like the ultimate munchkins. Atlantis. And they're swimming in unison, in harmony, in the light and in the shadows, and amongst other little fishies, and amongst the negative pillars. we just flow amongst it all, unaffected by it all. That's what I'm getting specifically from that. Then we have baby reversed and scriber writer reversed. It is written. Stop trying to make your new story. It is written, is what I'm getting from them. From Dee Dee. Let go of nesting. I was also getting, don't settle down quite yet because you might be traveling soon. It was 117:44. Mastering your light and your abilities. So don't nest quite yet. And don't get too wrapped up into your story and writing. Give yourself some time to adventure out. Without the children. And I'm getting from the baby. Oh, look! I guess look at the hand of the baby, and then the father's hand. Like the three going, the space between the words, the space between the fingers, and how the three fit in there. Make sure when you leave the house, make sure all your candles are truly out. Be careful about dumping things that were left overnight that you assume are out in the trash can. Actually, my ex's daughter had a fire because of something put in the trash can from what they were doing the day before, and ended up having a house fire. So I'm being guided to warn you about that. Oh, and there's mail coming. Maybe something special in the mail today. Maybe a small token from a flame. Or a book. or support, or something written, the truth. It's making me want to cry again. It's the Divine Masculine coming through saying, put down the pen. It's time for us to take care of you. Right? To the baby. Because he's coming up as the Page of Cups. He's no longer the baby. He's no longer the Page of Cups. Now it's time for him to write to you. It's time for him to take care of you. Alright, the next card. Let's see how many cards you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they came out in bunches, but they ultimately were then 10 and then 13. So again, the 10 of the high vibration, it was just 1, 20, 44. So judgment was coming up again too, and the 12, because it was 1, 2, 0. And the mastering of it. And they came out in sections of 1, 3, 1, 3, 5, and then 2 and 3. 1, 3. No, I'm sorry, not 1, 3. 1, 2, 5. The masculine, the feminine, expand. Two, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. Very cool. I'll try to, it's hard to show you the 5 together because you won't be able to see them all. So this is the 5 group that came out. Okay, so you have the angels and then transportation and then the night and then the farm and then galactic. So all your travels. You no longer need your angels. You are the angels. You can travel by train, by night, like overnight, by train, by night, by horse, or by galactic travel. It's your choice. But you no longer need your angels to do that. But keep it simple and keep nature involved. You don't need the protection of the night. Let go of your armor and your family lineage. You are not your family, you are you. And the horses are important. They're like your unicorns. Your dolphins and your unicorns, your dolphins and your horses, really important. And galactic travels and the constellations. And kite flying. Benjamin Franklin. I'm getting Ben, the two of us need look no more. It was just 12323. There were 2 King of Wands because you both are King of Wands. It's saying Magician embodiment is 2323. You're both the King of Wands. Ben, the two of us need look no more. We both found what we've been looking for with a friend to call my own. I'll never be alone, and you, my friend, will see. You've got a friend in me. I used to say, I and me, now it's us, now it's we. You can look up the rest of the lyrics. I can't sing anymore. The other 2 here, and by the way, I saw the Jackson 5 when they did the family tour. And it's reminding me of that because I'm supposed to tell you the other one is she's out of my life. It's the masculine worried about her not accepting him back. When he left Diana Ross, she's out of my life. Damned indecision, blah blah blah. For me, that was my favorite song of the concert. It was like so powerful. She's out of my life. It was so beautiful. So if you haven't listened to that in a long time, you might want to listen to it. Lessons and Blessings and Medicine Man or Woman came up together. Time has no meaning. You didn't waste time, or you're not. For the feminine, you haven't wasted your time into the masculine. You haven't run out of time. And the doctor is in. He may not be the one you're used to. And he may be not even alternative, like out of this world. That's what I'm getting for you guys. But he's saying don't time him. Alright, I'm just show you the last one because I'm getting really long here and I still have to pull one more card for you. The last three were Asia, the arts, and persecution and inquisition. Like as if it hasn't been enough already. Well, there's no more persecution and inquisition for the feminine. I'm getting it again. It's no more about what you do for me. Now it's time for me to do for you. And the masculine's telling you to stand your ground and be confident. Know your worth. The day the music died. He's saying never let him off the hook. Right? Stand up for yourself. Don't ever let him treat you badly. And stop giving because now it's time for him to give back to you in order to regain the balance. Okay. Okay. All right. One last card, Journey of Love from Dee Dee. I think Dee Dee out there, you're going to like that one. And Dee Dee, I love your pick. It's very, the energy from it is very, very beautiful and sweet and light and just goodness. Clear the line. Clear the line. Clear the line. Alright. So, again, March 9 to March 10. I don't want to say 9. Sometimes it's okay to fall back a little bit. It's that vibrational energy. It's the 11th hour. 9:10, 9:10. Alright, so March 10, 2019, for everyone watching, the best and highest good of all those concerned. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? And we are asking Divine Director, Dee Dee, what is it we need to know? What is it we need to learn? It's just numbers, guys. Please bring it, but I'm getting them singly. Yes, okay. Done. I thought he was going to make me go forever. Just for a moment, joy is 46, which is the Six of Cups, the children in the garden. All right, this is the energy of the dolphin energy that I was telling you. And also Dee Dee. Just for a moment, joy. And joy is the 11th ray. It's also another, let's see real quick. What else was joy? I don't know. I wrote too small down there, but I know it's from the 11th ray, if not one of the other rays as well. But I'll have to get through these really quickly because I still have to read for you. I don't want things to go too much longer. All right, let's see. Time, I know it means nothing. Okay. So the first two cards that came out for you guys are the communal dance, number 5, which is expansion, and riding the cosmic wave, number 60. Okay, so I'll read those to you. I'm not going to read the rest, though, because they're too long. It's about celebrating the divine feminine, that now she just needs to ride. You see, she's like on, it's like she's on 2 swans, right? Now she rides on the back of the 2 swans. It's her time to have fun and ride, and just ride with the wave. And the community they will celebrate around her and take care of her. It's also saying, like, well, she now gets to take a ride while the rest of the community purifies, okay, from their light, like learning from them. 60 is the 6 of Swords. It's about finding peace, going to those calm emotions. And then the next card from after the first 2 was 66, which is coming together. So the feminine's riding the wave, the masculine's the communal dance, right, dealing with all the people he's been dealing with, and then the coming together of the 2. The 66 is the Queen of Pentacles. Then we had the 23, the King of Wands again, and then Beauty, which is 58, to see how beautiful you are, to get your beauty sleep as well. And then Legacy of Light is 53. That's the Knight of Swords rushing in. It's the catapult. Then we have 3 that came up. Sacred Convergence. That's 28. Within nothing there is everything. Number 2. That's like the womb and the ultrasound. And ultrasound came up with the sound waves. And then Sweet Soul Rising. Okay, that's that Page of Cups rising, the masculine rising, which is 20, which is the Judgment. It's the Judgment, High Priestess, and the 2 of Wands. So it's the 28 of the 1 of the masculine energy, but the feminine is both the feminine and the judge, because the masculine wants to be judged in order to create balance. That's the purpose of the judge, to create balance. Okay, so that's an important message. And then after that, there's purification. Okay, so we have the Swan. Drop into your heart, 68, and then Heart of the Moment came up, 16. So the Tower and the Page of Pentacles, which is your opportunities, sudden opportunities. And then the Pearl Threaded, which is 38, the Queen of Cups, and beautiful flowers. And then the last 3 that came up were Falling, which is 14, the Temperance card, the Angels. The Space Between the Words, 24, is the Queen of Wands, right? Because your karmic, if they have kids, will always be there. And then 13 is the Gifts Received. So you have 13, 14, and then 24 is in between 13 and 14. So in between the change and the angels is the space between the words, or the 24, the catalyst. Okay, so these 3 here. Okay. and that there will always be the change. So the 14 of the temperance, or the angels, is the feather, right? The angels. There's always going to be shadow within your human body. And that the change, the 13, or the thorns in the crown, are the gifts received. Because they purify you. Expand and purify. And the space between the words will always be the creation between. Alright? So the things that, what comes of that, the inspiration, whether it be a painting or anything else that you create, is the space between the words. Alright, let's see how many cards we have here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Looks like 16 for the tower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yep. Just for a moment, joy, the tower, the surprise, the excitement. So enjoy it. Make sure you stay in the moment. And 60. I'm going to read to you the 2 cards. Boy, we're getting there already. You can be carried further by the cosmic wave than by your own efforts. Where you're going cannot be attained by effort. The effort, the discipline, prepares us for the leap. But after the leap, we are no longer sustained by our efforts, but by forces greater than us, the forces of love itself. You're stepping towards the edge, preparing to leap, and we talked about walking on the edge in this today. And let the cosmic wave of love carry you forward. You shall be moved through grace into new world awaiting you. This oracle brings a message. There is time to work hard and time to allow the fruits of one's labor to manifest, when one may be carried by forces set in motion, by the energy of life itself. You can let go and move further, reach farther with less effort. Now is the time to give yourself permission to stop paddling and instead just ride the wave, to give in, let go, and be moved. Someone might move all your stuff for you. Your spirit flies like the wind, warms like the sun, and watches like the sky. How wise the earth, waiting for the moment to be touched. Okay, and then just one more was the communal dance was for the masculine, 5. I wanted to stop at 12 again. The communal dance. Lover, you have been alone too long. Your community calls you to surrender your isolation for this moment in time and instead join the cosmic Congo line. Do you know how special you are? So much so that this community would not be the same without you. Your individuality and uniqueness can only enhance this group of souls that calls you to dance with them. Men and women, human and spirit, heaven and earth. Your community is vast and rich and has much to share with you. Be lifted in celebration of belonging. Recognize you are part of something great. Can your heart grow warm with recognition? You belong. You are meant to be a part of this great dance of love awakening on the earth. Your heart is already beating to the rhythm of the music, to your own drum. That's my words. The oracle brings you guidance. You're being drawn into a new community that is more aligned with your innate spiritual vibration. You'll feel more at home there and be able to share your gifts and talents more freely and with greater support. Let go of relationships or situations that you have been holding on to out of fear. They're meant to continue with you. If they are meant to continue with you, they will remain, and if not, they will fall away, creating space for new connections to come into your life now. This is not a time to hide in what you have known, but to be open to playful connection with kindred spirits, soon to be met. And the poem reads, when I stood in front of you, I knew something was in store. I could feel the excitement of our journey ahead, for I had been that way before. Each person comes into our life with lessons we may see, and the reflection of that other self is the person we can be. And I wrote, when I used to like record the dates that I would get to each card, and I stopped at one point, obviously, because it was getting too much. But on this page, I wrote on January 23rd, 2017, that I was led to page 23 when going to 23. All right, so I was trying to find 23, and this is ended up on page 23. Here's your 2 King of Wands here as the feminine and the masculine. Confirming that again. Okay, I gotta go, but I gotta show you your pictures. Hold on. All right, so this is the basic read. Move the light a little bit so you can see it better. And then the entire read. Okay. I don't think I need to tell you anything after that. That was amazing. Make sure you drink your water, get your rest, your beauty rest. And guys, rise and be low. That's all you gotta do. Bye. I forgot I was guided to show you guys this, and I didn't, so here it is.